Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to watch our video. Our presentation today is about legacy, which based on a case study, Asian Cup. First, need to be honest. For those people who have low interest in football, like us, we probably don't know what is Asian Cup. Actually, the Asian Cup is absolutely an international mega sport event which is hosted by Asian Football Confederation, and it is hosted once per 4 years. In Asia, it could be called one of the biggest sporting events in history. It is the oldest continental football game except for Copa America. In terms of Asian Cup 2015 in Australia, during the period from January 9th to January 31st, there were 45,000 visitors from overseas come to Australia, and more than 500,000 people attended. And 16 teams competed with each other in several Australian major cities such as Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, and Newcastle. Government found more than $61 million to support it. So the government spent such huge money to build such event. In fact, it's not just a football game. They want to build a legacy. Basically, organizing a world-class event can directly and indirectly create tangible legacies such as infrastructure, such as increasing job opportunity and tourism. And it could also create intangible legacies like social legacies or sport legacies. So a mega sporting event can transform a city. Let's take Beijing Olympic Games as an example. The water cube, which was built for swimming games, but nowadays it has become National Swimming Center, which make 100 million per year from tourism. And also, the Birdlife has become National Stadium, which can make more than $500 million per year from tourism and hosting events. However, to analyze a legacy, we can't evaluate it only from its positive aspect. We should critically think about it from both positive and negative. For example, if a legacy indeed increases national economy, but it is harmful for environment and reduce the affordability of housing, it is absolutely unsuccessful legacy. And there is a good way to analyze the legacy called triple bottom line. That analyzing a legacy should consider from all of the economy and social and environmental results.
Then I will introduce the previous cases that AFC can consider in order to achieve and maintain the event legacies. The first case is 2000 Sydney Olympic Games. The mega event brought great benefit to Sydney, and one strategy was taken. First, a few venues were contracted for the Olympic Games, such as the Olympic Stadium, the Tennis Center, and the International Racket Center. After the event, the venues have become the home to residents, workforce, students, and visitors who have access to world-class sports facilities, green space, and playground. Also, 2 new suburbs have also been created. Sydney Olympic Park and nearby Newington, said to be one of the world's biggest solar power suburbs. Second, there have been environmental benefits with the creation of large parklands. Sydney Olympic Park is a large area, twice the size of Sydney CBD. Of this land area, 430 hectares are green space and parklands, with areas inhabited by threatened species, protected marine vegetation, and endangered ecological communities. Besides, the country's first large-scale urban water recycling system was established, saving about 850 million liters of drinking water a year. Third, the Olympic Games brought benefits to the future development of tourism and event industry. As a result of Olympic venues, Australia was able to host the 2003 Rugby World Cup and 2009 World Masters Game. It also put us in a more competitive position to win the rights to the 2022 FIFA World Cup. However, the economic benefits wasn't achieved as was expected. A KPMG report prepared for the game's bidding in 1993 predicted that it would add about $7.3 billion to the economy and create about 156,000 new jobs. But a detailed analysis by Monash University have found a net consumption loss of about $2.1 billion. Another case we are going to introduce is Brisbane G20. First, the event successfully prevented the potential negative impacts on destination reputation. For example, security is always the first significant thing for every mega event. Before G20, police were well trained and prepared to ensure security, reduce street violence, and deal with political demonstration. About 6,000 police, including 1,500 officers from interstate and New Zealand, were on duty during the event. Besides, the authority negotiated with the protesters group several months before G20, and it was said that they cooperated well. The reputation of Brisbane was protected from the potential negative effects of political demonstration. Second, during G20, Koalas was put in conference sites to entertain and close relationship with other leaders. As koalas are usually regarded as a sign of Australia, the strategy can deepen visitors' memory and build destination image. However, during the event, large parts of Brisbane CBD were locked down and some public transportation service was stopped, which brought big trouble to daily life of Brisbane residents. As we all know, the support from local community is significant for the success of any event. The ignorance of local residents may lead to the resentment towards the event and the participants.
Legacies could be divided into tangible legacies and intangible legacies. Here, I will mainly talk about 3 tangible legacies and 2 intangible legacies. The first tangible legacy is infrastructure. For example, there are 5 top-class venues for the competition. The opening ceremony was at Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, and it was culminated in the final at Sydney's Stadium, Australia. The other 3 competition venues are Brisbane Stadium at Melton, Canberra Stadium in Australia Capital Territory, and Newcastle Stadium in New South Wales. The second tangible legacy is increased inbound tourism. During the Asian Cup, it brings 30 million US dollars consumption for the surrounding areas. Hosting Asian Cup provided Australia with a unique opportunity to target Asian markets in order to increase inbound tourism both directly through attracting attendance at the event and indirectly through media exposure of the event. The attendance figure is 650,000 and it reached over 1 billion audiences through broadcast media. The third tangible legacy is job opportunities. As holding Asian Cup, there is a booming development of Australia's tourism industry. More attendance was attracted to Australia, and attendance need toward accommodation, restaurants, and entertainment activities was growing. So there are more job opportunities for the local resident. In terms of intangible legacies, there are 2 main parts. The first one is social legacies such as community cohesiveness, multiculturalism, and national pride. Various communities and departments of state government will work together. Different communities perform in different areas, and the cohesiveness of the society will be much better than before. More importantly, about 280,000 foreign people came here to watch games on site. Tens of thousands of foreign fans in too, so that they know more about Australian football and Australian cultures. At the same time, as more international visitors came in Australia, they might bring their own cultures. The local residents of Australia might experience excitement and pride because of the opportunities to hold this kind of international event. This is a kind of a psychic income. The local people have a sense of awe about their nation. This is the first Asian Cup held in Australia, and is also the first time for Australia to be the championship in Asian Cup. The second part of intangible legacies is sport legacies and like participation and competitiveness. By holding the Asian Cup, more and more people pay attention to football games. On the one hand, many people began to watch football games that they might seldom watch them before. On the other hand, people participate in this kind of sports, begin to play it, except watch them from television. Some of them would choose to participate in this Asian Cup on set. In order to better participate in this kind of international football game, more skilled and professional football players were trained. The competitive skills of football players from all over the world were enhanced.
When it comes to the stakeholders in an FC, there are three major components worth mentioning, namely the government, local residents, and local companies. More specifically speaking, both investment and gains of the government are involved in the process of hosting AFC 2015. Primarily, the government raised $61 million for the construction of infrastructures, facilities, and accommodations such as sporting venues and hotels through the funding of the public and sponsors, which are usually sports related. Secondly, in order to build a better image and prestige of Australia and the hosting cities, the government invested in advertisements which help to educate the citizens and contribute to the civilizations of the country. Although lots of money was invested, more economic and social benefits are brought while hosting AFC. More specifically, a better national prestige for Australia was created because of the increased media coverage, and there were tangible developments in tourism and economic sector. For example, Michael Brown, the CEO of the AFC Asian Cup Australia 2015 local organizing community, expected at least 45,000 visitors to make their way to Australia for the AFC AFC Asian Cup, and if they each spend the estimated $5,000, they will provide an immediate 225 million boost to the economy. Australian local community experienced pride, euphoria, and excitement, and welcomed the visitors around the world during hosting the AFC 2015. Also, more job opportunities are created in the tourism and hospitality industry, such as waiting positions. What's more, for the local people, they are encouraged to do more exercise, and as a result, their interest in doing sports and their ability are also increased. However, it cannot be neglected that large crowds brought heavier burden to the traffic, and they might experience a sense of insecure for the people due to the culture shock oriented from international visitors. Lastly, the local companies. There were absolutely more consumers brought to Australia since more visitors came here. Also, an increasing number of national and international cooperations were created, which consequently brought more economic benefits. However, this brought more competitors from international markets as well, and there was difficulties satisfying people from different backgrounds with various needs.
The next part is about as governments, how can we achieve the objectives and maintain the legacies? The first one is about the infrastructure legacies. Governments should work with academic institutions and businesses to make a long-term infrastructure plan and develop infrastructure. Better city plans should be designed to bring amenity and convenience for both citizens and visitors. For example, Australian Open will be held in Melbourne Park in January 2017, which will attract a huge amount of foreign visitors. More hotels are built and developed. The capacity of cities will be increased. The Transport Department can develop the transport system and design new lines which connect airports and stadiums to reduce the transport pressure. Secondly, governments can engage private sectors to participate in the construction and maintenance of infrastructure. We can encourage industries to invest in infrastructure in terms of their role clarity and profits. Thirdly, the government can sharpen rules to use infrastructure so that the infrastructure can be protected very well. With the rules, governments can use the investment of infrastructure appropriately and efficiently, avoiding unnecessary costs and getting revenues which can be reverted back to investors, taxpayers, and society. And then it's about tourism aspect. The government should get behind the favor of AFC and keep media exposure of Australia to develop tourism. There are some ways to develop tourism as following. Firstly is to encourage high-quality tourism experience. Then is to limit the tax red tape and other regulatory burden industry faces. Thirdly is to undertake coordinated and effective marketing campaigns to drive demand. Rapidly, economic growth in Asian countries and higher local residents' living standards, and there is an increasing number of overseas travelers. However, it is difficult for visitors to get a visa because of attending an event. Australian governments should renew visa policies for an easier access, such as encouraging online application. And then it's about employment legacies, encouraging the business development and boosting the demand for tourism. New business emerges which can create more job opportunities. And then we have to focus on training and education to improve the professional skills and knowledge and increase experience of employees so that they can have higher abilities to gain a job. And about the social legacies, as a country with multiculturalism, Australia should legislate laws to protect both residents and foreign visitors' interests and rights. By this way, foreign visitors can feel safe to travel to the destination. At the same time, the local residents won't repel overseas tourism, which can benefit social cohesion and multiculturalism. And we have to take actions to promote the image and brand of Australia, which increases national pride. It is also important to establish friendly business relationships with various enterprises in other countries, thereby attracting foreign investment. The last one is about sports legacies. The government should encourage citizens to participate in football games and various activities in football clubs. And we have to strengthen the association between Australia and football culture, attract more football fans, and other sports enthusiasts' attention.
To conclude, our presentation first briefly introduced the AFC event, then reviewed the effective and failed strategies previous event took to achieve the legacies. When discussing the event legacies, tangible and intangible ones were both considered. There are few stakeholders involved in the AFC, such as local governments, local residents, and companies. Roles of them and opportunities for them were discussed. Finally, suggested strategies were given in order to ensure the objectives are met. Thank you for your time.